Hello everyone, I am Lazy Ant. In this episode, we are going to talk about the last of the 5 emperors, Emperor Shun. Shun is the only one among the 5 emperors who was not part of the Huangdi's tribe or his descendants. The main reason he was able to take over the imperial throne was due to a virtue highly valued in Chinese society, filial piety. Emperor Yao valued this trait in Shun, believing that someone with this quality would certainly love the people as his own children and treat the citizens well, which is why he abdicated the throne to Shun. Shun's real name was Changhua, and it said that he had double pupils in both eyes, which is where his name originated from. As mentioned in the previous video, Yao also had double pupils. Therefore, there has been a long-standing belief since ancient times that those with double pupils are destined to become emperors. According to the records, Shun's father, Guso, was a very stubborn and unreasonable person who treated Shun quite poorly. Shun's mother, Wodong, was very virtuous but unfortunately passed away when Shun was young. Consequently, his father remarried. His stepmother was a woman devoid of wifely virtues, and after giving birth to a younger brother named Shang, the father showed favoritism towards the stepmother and younger brother. The 3 of them often conspired to harm Shun. Shun was very kind to his father and stepmother. Even when his father, stepmother, and younger brother saw him as a thorn in their side and wanted him gone, he still managed to respect and show filial piety to his parents and brotherly love to his sibling. When he was reprimanded by his parents as a child, his first thought was, "There must be something I did wrong that made them angry." So he would scrutinize his words and actions more carefully and try to please his parents. If he was unjustly treated by his younger brother, not only would he tolerate it, but he would also blame himself for not setting a good example, thus allowing his brother's morals to be deficient. He often blamed himself deeply, and would sometimes even run to the field to cry, questioning why he couldn't be perfect and win the recognition and love of his parents. People were deeply moved seeing such a young boy understand the concept of filial piety and behave so maturely. Shun's actions not only moved his neighbors but also touched all things in heaven and earth. He once farmed in a place called Li Mountain, and animals came to help. The gentle and kind elephants came to the field to help him plow. The small and agile birds helped him weed in flocks. People were very surprised and admired when they saw this, yet Shun remained very humble and courteous. As a result, it was known all over the country that Shun was a great filial son. At that time, Emperor Yao was worried about succession matters. Hearing the recommendations of ministers from all sides, knowing that Shun was simple, generous, humble, and cautious, he married his 2 daughters, Wang and Nuying, to him, hoping to observe and test him through his 2 daughters. Wang and Nuying served their parents-in-law meticulously, organized household chores and farming tasks orderly. They were not only Shun's capable assistants, but also fulfilled Shun's unwavering filial piety. Once, his stepmother asked Shun to climb onto the roof for repairs. After Shun had climbed up, Guso set fire underneath. As the blaze grew perilously, Shun held a large bamboo-woven hat in each hand, gliding down from the roof like a bird and landed safely. It turned out that his intelligent wives had been prepared in advance. Once again, his stepmother ordered Shun to dig a well. As Shun dug deeper, his stepmother and Shun conspired to bury him in the well, furiously shoveling dirt into it from above. Little did they know that Shun, under the guidance of his 2 wives, had already dug a tunnel in the middle of the well, allowing him to narrowly escape this disaster. When Shang arrogantly thought all of Shun's property was now his, he was taken aback when Shun suddenly walked in. Shang hastily tried to conceal his surprise, but Shun did not show any signs of anger, acting as if nothing had happened. When Shun first arrived at Lishan to farm, the local farmers often fought over the fields. Shun took the lead in yielding to others, using his virtuous character to influence everyone. As expected, these farmers were deeply moved afterwards, and they no longer fought over the fields. He also once went to the Lies region to fish, where the strong and young often occupied the best spots. leaving the elderly and weak unable to catch fish. Seeing this, Shun set an example by yielding the deeper, fish-abundant waters to the elderly while he fished in the shallows. Due to his sincere demeanor, everyone else felt both ashamed and moved, so they all subsequently began to yield to the elderly. Shun also once visited a place called Taohei, where the soil quality was poor, resulting in crude pottery. Surprisingly, after Shun managed this place for a year, even the quality of the soil improved, and the pottery produced was of high quality. Everyone unanimously agreed that this was a result of Shun's virtues. Subsequently, wherever he lived, many people would follow. A village formed in the first year, it became a county in the second year, and by the third year, it turned into a big city. After Shun went through various tests, Yao did not immediately pass the throne to him. Instead, he let him handle state affairs for 20 years and act as regent for 8 years. Only after 28 years did Yao officially pass the throne to Shun. This shows that Yao was extremely diligent and painstaking in choosing a successor to the throne, and he did not take this task lightly. When Shun ascended to the throne, he didn't feel particularly joyful. Instead, he expressed his sadness by saying, "Even if I've reached this point today, my parents still don't like me. What's the use of me being an emperor?" His words deeply moved those who heard them, bringing tears to their eyes. In the end, Shun's actions finally touched the hearts of his parents and his brother. Yao and Shun didn't regard the throne as private property, but instead passed it on to the capable, a practice known in history as abdication, which is praised by future generations. Regarding the abdication of Yao and Shun, although many people doubt its authenticity, it is still credible based on the following reasons. 1. In ancient times, the public ruler was just a public servant, not a monarch with high power as we are familiar with. They had a lot of work and were not well compensated, so their status was not something to be envied. 2. During the time of Yao and Shun, it was still a clan society, and abdication was originally a selection system in the clan society. This system is still preserved in many clan societies in later generations, such as the Khitan, Jurchen, Mongols, etc., which are supported by historical records. There's another theory suggesting that Yao did not abdicate voluntarily. The Bamboo Annals records that Shun imprisoned Yao and seized power, and Yu further forced Shun to abdicate. The transitions of power among Yao, Shun, and Yu involved forceful coercion, not peaceful abdication. As for who Yu was, we will introduce him in the next video. According to the legend, at the time, Yao's kingdom was facing a crisis. A tribal group led by Shun wanted to usurp Yao's throne. Hence, Shun spoke ill of Danju in front of Yao, sowing discord between father and son. Shun managed to persuade Yao to send Danju to the south, which was relatively far from Yao. Some say Danju was even exiled. After acting as the regent, Shun imprisoned Yao and forced him to abdicate. When Danju found out about this, he led the troops of the three Miao to fight against Shun. A major battle ensued. Yi, known for his archery, helped Shun. Thus, Danju failed in the war to vie for the throne against Shun. After his defeat, Danju migrated towards Henan, Hunan, Hebei, and Shandong regions. While the usurpation theory put forth in the Bamboo Annals seems to align more closely with logic and human nature, the mainstream Chinese culture and history primarily accept the theory of abdication. Confucianism has a significant influence and standing among Chinese culture and the rulers of various dynasties. Shun has a unique significance for Confucianism. Confucian teachings highly value filial piety, and the legend of Shun is also famous for demonstrating filial piety. Therefore, his personal image serves as an exemplar for Confucian ethical teachings. Because of the propagation of Confucianism, the legendary deeds of Shun have left a profound impact on the Chinese cultural tradition. This ancient Chinese historical story may have exaggerated the influence of filial piety, but many sages in later generations have used Shun's story to encourage people to express their inherent kindness. They hoped that this would extend to all people, things, and events around them, in order to achieve a harmonious, stable, and peaceful life in society. From a political perspective, Shun's story serves to convince people of the importance of filial piety, which in turn can deepen people's obedience to those in power or higher positions. This understanding of filial piety is not just a respect for parents, but also for the authority or hierarchy in a broader sense. Thus, it has been a key cultural norm shaping interpersonal relationships in the Chinese society. Under the endorsement of Confucianism and the emphasis of rulers across various eras, the virtue of filial piety has been deeply embedded in the genetic makeup of the Chinese people. Whether for better or worse, it continues to profoundly influence everyone's actions and behavior to this day. In the next time, we will discuss one of the most famous figures in history known for water control, Yu. There's a saying in China, "Passing one's home thrice without entering." This describes a situation where someone is so busy with work or important matters that they can't even go home to rest. The origin of this phrase comes from Yu, who during his endeavor to control the floods was too occupied to return home. This phrase seems to be quite fitting in the high overtime work environment prevalent in Asia, where it's common to see people continually working overtime to the extent that they cannot return home. To some extent, this could be seen as a kind of sorrow for modern people. Follow my channel to learn more about the history and stories of Chinese culture. You'll never have to worry about running out of topics and stories during your next gathering with friends. If you like this video, please give me a like and subscribe this YouTube channel. Every subscription is the biggest support. Thank you.